Here we are, and welcome to a terrifying episode of the Friday Night Movie Podcast. And that is because, we record this show on Zoom every week, but never have we had people who have taken Zoom to the level of terror that Elizabeth Piper and the cast of The Dark Offerings have done. And they are with us today. Before we get to them, though, Becky's going to kick us off with a little story of her own Zoom madness, because I don't think we've told a story about Mom in a few weeks. And
yeah, it's been a few weeks. I have a good one.
People come for the guests, but they stay for
the mom stories. So Mom and I were invited to be on a panel this week, on a Zoom panel about, it's like a mother-daughter camp thing, how camp turned us into the people we are today, sort of thing. And for this panel, there was a prep
Why would
session.
anyone call us about a Jewish summer camp?
Why would anyone call us about like a Jewish summer camp experience with our parents?
It's our jam.
So there's a prep call for it. We're on this prep call, and it's like a pre-interview. All the panelists are doing this pre-discussion. And keep in mind, Mom is doing this call from the auto train. So taking a train from Florida to Virginia. She's on a train
with her car.
But anyways, that's like other stories. This is
a Jewish Cuban mom, just to sketch it out for our amazing guests,
who was very excited that she was going to get strapped into the top bunk of her little car
to be trained overnight.
Now,
surprising to no one, the auto train does not have good Zoom reception, Wi-Fi or Zoom reception. So she's trying to participate in this call. Her video's not working. We're trying to tell her to use the chat, but she's just texting me. And then I have to read out her text to everyone. And anyway, so it's as if Mom's not there, but she's listening in on the call, and I'm giving a response. And then kind of just hear in the background in Mom's voice, because she didn't realize she wasn't on mute and we could hear her just going, Roger, isn't our daughter so brilliant? She's so smart. Which I have to say, while both a little bit awkward and embarrassing to have someone say that about you in front of a room full of people, I also am like, Mom, can you join me on every work call I do from now on and just quietly in the back whisper to everyone how smart I am? Because it did feel great. So Mom's little Zoom faux pas turned into like the little cheerleading section I realized I want to have with me all the time.
So I would say the opposite of Mom cheering you on Zoom by accident would be a demon
this movie
transmitting through Zoom and killing people one by one against their will. Elizabeth Piper, you wrote the film, and you star in it as Sophia Hapgood, along with Benjamin Frankenberg, who plays your brother James. We've got Tina Nikolova, who plays Molly, who is actually my favorite character because you drop all the truth bombs. I love that you come in and just drop all those Zoom truth bombs on your high school. And then a true legend of the film industry, Terry Alexander, who many folks know from Day of the Dead. Such a pleasure to have you as well here on the show with us. Thank you so much for being here. Elizabeth, there's a million people sitting on Zoom for the last 2 years. There are a million potential takes on Zoom as a chamber of horrors. What led you to this? How did you feel like you got the recipe so well to make something so truly terrifying?
So, wow, this is kind of a long story, but I'll keep it brief. Zoom already is kind of scary because it's very voyeuristic. You're looking into somebody's world. It's almost like a rear window. You can see what's happening, but you can't really interact too much if something's happening on somebody's, Zoom picture. So it's very isolating, but at the same time, it brings us all together. So it's already in itself very terrifying. And this happened during the pandemic. We decided to make this. So this was really the only way that we could all communicate. So we used what was available to communicate with to make a movie. So basically in April of 2020, we Marcus and I came up with the idea to make this. We bullet pointed it all out. We wrote the script together, and then we got all of our favorite people to be a part of it, and thankfully they were all available. So
So you all knew each other already?
Most of us.
Oh, wow. Oh, wait. Terry's nodding. Terry, were you new to the Zoom group?
Yes, I am. I met these wonderful actors through Liz. They're all very, very talented. You hang out with a cool group, Liz. This is a story about how we have created a life form, electromagnetic life form, and how it gives life to positive and negative creatures. And this one is a very negative creature. And he attacks these vulnerable people who are brought all their pain to the computer, and it illustrates what happens when a negative entity gets into their pain. It's really a cool script.
I agree. It is a very cool
That
script.
is as poetic a description as I could have heard of it. That is really beautiful.
Very beautifully put. And it shows there's a lot of can find a lot of depth and meaning in horror stories.
You got your good entities and your bad entities.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think the best ones always reflect something that people are really, really afraid of. Okay. One of the things that is Terry touched on just now is some of these people are pretty terrible. Emily is the actor or the character? Everyone feels like they're the real person. So
Emily is played by Lydia. Tina is Molly.
Okay. My other favorite, just because the reveal of the awful thing she's doing is so cool. But some characters I feel like, people are rooting for, or maybe you're rooting for differently. So let's just go around the horn, starting with Benjamin, because you're the first to get us involved in this problem in the film. When you're reading the script for the first time, who do you think, who are you rooting for? Who do you think is going to survive the longest when you're reading that script? I don't want to give it away. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but that is something that becomes apparent, that someone's going to make it to the end. Who are you rooting for as a reader?
I mean, it's tough because you look at that and without giving anything away, you're going to follow your protagonist. So you're trying to figure out who's in alignment with that protagonist. And I think we come in, I don't think it's, the introduction to the film shows a lot of complex relationships and split-second decision making. And I think it reflects how important relationships and how complex they can be throughout the rest of the film. This idea that people you like might have to be sacrificed, people you don't like might have to live. The reasoning for keeping somebody or losing somebody is a complex decision. And so the entire film, I think, playing with that idea of who the hell gets to stay and who the hell has to go. I mean, we align ourselves with Sophie's vision throughout the film and what she has to experience and who she has to connect with. And I mean, from the beginning, her brother is the person who puts this on her. So no matter how close you are you really safe? I don't know. You kind of try to see where she's going with it.
Yeah, Lil and Beck.
You know what? I really did think about who I would call, and if it would be the type of thing where I'd call one of my siblings.
I hope you're revealing that list now.
Oh yeah, no. I thought about the list, but I was like, would I call one of my siblings because I know they would do whatever it takes to save me, and then I could trust that they would actually save me.
You're not hoping that the demon will kill your sibling,
You're
I'm hoping they'll figure it out.
Or do I want to keep them out of it to keep them safe? And that's a really interesting. I think that's a very realistic calculation in terms of saving yourself versus saving others. When you're in that situation, what lengths you'll go to really save yourself, and that idea of who you would pull in And anyways, I was very affected by that.
Also, I just want everyone to know Becky is the person in my will that is my plug puller, because I know that Lily would just keep my like reanimated body in formaldehyde.
I would find a way to convince the demon so that we all still hang out and I'll give my soul, it's fine, but that like we can all remain friends and that this could just keep going forever in this little group. But under no circumstances are we not going to be hanging out. So I would have a
So in that
very
case,
hard
you
time.
would pull me and Cheyenne being like worst case
Oh, and then
scenario,
just
we
be-
all end up demons. Like the worst case
Exactly.
scenario is we get to still hang
We're
out.
just
but we're all
demons together. And there
That's
is absolutely.
Okay, Molly. Sorry, Tina, you played Molly, who I feel like is an unfortunate victim here. And you drop, you have this moment where your character just drops, like I said, all the truth bombs on everyone. And I love when you gear up to do that scene. Are you pulling from like moments in your life where, oh, there's some truth bombs I wish I dropped some people, or are you going into just another place? Okay.
Oh yeah, definitely pulling from that. I mean, also I was listening to a lot of My Chemical Romance to get in the mood right before we're shooting the scenes. What was really cool actually about doing this on Zoom is that I could be, camera off, mic off, and no one has any idea what I'm doing. Like I could prepare however I wanted.
That's
for
cool.
Going into any take. You can't do that on set. You can't play music loud. You can't do anything because people look at you like, what is wrong with you? But at home you can do whatever you want, and then like boom, I turn on the camera, the mic, and there I am. But yeah, for sure, when I first read the script, I kept like bothering Liz and Marcus with like, wait, but it's like, oh, everyone hates her. I was like, why is she even in the group? And then of course, realizing like, wait, so they wrote the characters thinking of us already? Like, is that it makes you think.
It makes you wonder.
Okay, so
They knew you had the talent to play her.
No, they
That's
knew
what
you
it
could keep
was.
it real. You need
Yeah.
someone who's gonna keep it real.
I'm
I'll
analyzing my relationship all of a sudden.
So all of you who are victims here have to do some incredible physical acting entirely on your own. And I saw more than one, in my view, nod to The Evil Dead and Sam Raimi's work, particularly with the physical reactions to the demons. I felt like everyone here channeled a little bit of Bruce Campbell at his best, which I thought was just fantastic. I'll kick it back to Elizabeth. How are you as a filmmaker and the director as filmmakers coaching that, and then as the actors, what are you channeling to do that physical acting with nobody around you?
So being a horror fan, of course, we like to try and grab some elements from other films that we really appreciate to throw in there. Evil Dead 2 was definitely one of them. The other, one of my personal favorites is Fright Night. There was a slight nod in that direction as well. But just kind of implementing all of that. And then I only designed the effects in terms of how we were going to do them. The actors had to actually do them a lot of times. So, when there's like something flying across the room, that's them doing it. And we just figured out a way, like old school style of filming, to make that happen. Or, we would get on a call and I'd be like, okay, put the blood here. Okay, yeah, let it trickle down. Okay, cool. Yeah, that looks good.
Benjamin, Tina, what are your thoughts on having to do that physical acting?
Well, Tina had some cool stuff going on over there, right?
It was fun. I mean, I had a helper in my apartment, so you know, he was able to, you know, drag me across the floor and all that fun stuff. But there was all like, no, more blood, you know, we need to see more blood. And you know, you have to like spray blood around, and then you have to clean it up so we can do it again, and then okay, clean more of it, and then do it.
Gosh. You're the cleanup crew too, right? I didn't really consider that. Your hair, makeup,
Everything.
stunt coordinator, and the
Right.
cleanup crew.
And we weren't cutting a lot, so we were shooting scenes like straight through. So it'd be like, okay, I'm walking over there, I'm saying my line. Okay, I'm gonna go over there, then I'm gonna pull the mug so it flies,
You're
and then
blocking.
and then I'm gonna walk over there. I'm gonna make this thing shake so that this stuff falls off, but not too much so that not everything falls off, you know, trying to figure out like how much stuff moves, you know, taking pictures also, everyone paying attention to their own continuity is like, oh, is this, how far did this move? Where do I put it back? I had to pay attention to a lot of stuff.
You know, this is great. I want to just say this is great to mention and to go into such detail, Tina, because watching the film as a viewer, you think, oh, this is genius. It's so simple shooting a movie on Zoom. Look at how contained it is. And then actually, as you're describing, I'm going, oh my God, that is so, so complicated.
It's complicated.
And there's so much to think about and do.
We had somebody helping with the lighting too. Every single Zoom call, David Green would come on and just be like, okay, I think the lighting was right like this. Okay, great. You look great. You know, he'd walk through us and we'd have to move the lights and everything. And
a lot more technical than people realize.
A labor of love and a lot of work.
I want to come back to Terry for a moment. Terry, before I ask my question and take a quick break, I want to make sure your sound is okay. Are you able? Yeah, you're talking through a phone, correct?
No, I'm talking through my terrible little laptop.
Oh, so I have two
Terrys.
devices. I have two Terrys. So I'm gonna remove one of them and see what happens. Okay.
Wait, let me turn off my cell phone first.
Yeah. I think it's your cell phone that might be.
I'm turning it off.
But and then I think your computer needs to be unmuted.
But one is for the demon.
That's what I'm about to say.
Hey, well, I'm lost. There was no such communication when I was a young struggling actor like this.
I would imagine.
I think you're doing a brilliant job, Terry.
Oh, there we go.
All right, Terry, there we go.
It says you removed me from the meeting.
No, but
you're
still here.
You're still here,
and we can still see you.
It's just like in the movie. It's just like in the movie. We can't. This Zoom will never end. So Terry, you've worked on, with icons of the special effects industry, particularly Tom Savini, correct? When in Day of the Dead, I mean, you're talking about people that define this industry. What's your reflection on working on a film and with filmmakers who are going back to practical effects, who are going away from the computer generated and literally you can feel and touch it and doing everything themselves?
Well, in Day of the Dead, I escaped and I lived through the movie, so I didn't have any real contact of bleeding or killing or blood running.
That is true. You
And then I worked a script with Liz and Marcus called The Last Call. And then I had a little bit of experience. So Liz really set me up with the knives in the hand and all the suffering. And I enjoyed it. She's very physical, just like Tom Savini and the crew. I can say that the special effects in this, should I say rival what Tom and the rest of these wonderful creatures I had to work with. It evolves on you brilliantly. I play a sort of expositional character, and I introduce metaphysical ideas to get you relaxed into accepting demons and the whole approach to it. So I kind of escape the blood and gore of this particular artistic venture. Actually.
You survive again.
Yes, yes, I do.
That's such. It's so wonderful to hear the reflection as someone who has seen so much on working with the younger crew. Did the younger actors, did they ever come to you for wisdom, or is there wisdom you want to impart onto the other generation while we have you on Zoom?
Well, the only time we got together is at the rap party at the end of the movie. And it was during the pandemic, and we all came out to Washington Square Park, and they were marching. Black Lives Matter was going on. These wonderful people were marching, and it went all over the world, this wonderful message. So no, they didn't have time to ask me for any knowledge. They just had to be here now, and they all were present and wonderful in their working. I guess that's what Tina talks about. You're just at home, and this is a whole new experience for everybody. So everybody really got into it. It was so cool.
Oh, that is such a treat. And I guess the presence, I think one of the hardest things as that Zoom causes for you, it makes you almost not be present because you're so there and you're looking all around and all of that. And so I think that's such an insightful piece here. So I want to ask Elizabeth, so there are nods. You mentioned Nod to Fright Night. You mentioned nod to Evil Dead. I love little Easter eggs. Connor McLeod, is that a Highlander? That's the name of one of the characters, one of the key characters.
Well, Connor McLeod is Highlander, so
yeah. Okay.
I don't want to give anything away, but
okay, I see. I see what you mean. So there is aside from the fact that you like Highlander, are there any other signals in any of the names or
all of the names? I'm weird with my character names. I like to come up with. I look at the meanings behind all names, and I pick certain names for certain reasons.
I like that a lot. I think that's
they're kind of like little Easter eggs that it's like, I wonder if anybody will pick up on this. So, when something happens to somebody, maybe that name meaning gives them a little bit of a hint in that direction.
Oh. Nice.
Not saying that's always the case with every single name. I'll pick little elements not to give anything too away. But
okay,
yeah,
all right. We won't push you because people have to watch it. That's the suspense.
Yeah.
One of the games we play on Friday Night Movies, so we're going to play a couple of our Friday Night Movie games. So we talk about the MVP, the LVP, and the MIP. Sometimes we change the last one around, but it's the MVP, the most valuable performer. It can be character also, because we know you all did an amazing job performing. The LVP is your least valuable player. That would be the character you're rooting most against, or maybe you just didn't like, or maybe there's a reason, there's some sort of grudge you have against them. But the MIP, this is where it gets really interesting, which is which character throughout the film or throughout the experience with them do you improve in your opinion of them. And so I'll actually start with my sisters, so you all can get ready. But we're picking the characters here. Again, all your performances are amazing, so this is not a performance-oriented thing. Lily, you're always very decisive and love a good baseless opinion.
I feel like that's me.
Oh, fair enough. Which one? Lily likes to circle the air.
I say my MVP is definitely Sophie. Because it's not Sophia, right? It's Sophie.
Sophia.
Sophia. Okay, sorry, it's Sophia. But they at some point they call you Sophie, right? Someone says Sophie.
Or they call you Soph.
Or Soph.
They call you Soph.
Right. And obviously I thought of Sophie's Choice, and they literally say to you at one point, Sophie, you have to make a choice or whatever. So did you not think of that?
I didn't think of that at all.
Get out.
But
that's
why I thought you named of Malta.
I thought that's why you named her Sophie, and then you just confirmed you think of the names for meaning.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is
that. Yeah.
And there's a line, Sophie, you must make a choice.
Collective subconscious.
And I was like, oh wow, that really hitting us with that Sophie's Choice.
And in Elizabeth credits, you were in the Jew of Malta, so maybe there was, like some deep
connection,
cultural connection to our people.
I'm sorry, but anyway, so you were she was my MVP because I feel like she had an impossible task, kept it together the whole movie. I like how she is, on a mission, and at the end is willing to sacrifice. What I don't fully understand is that if you were your idea is that if you sacrifice yourself and Connor, I'm not going to say this is what happens, but your idea is that you're saving your brother at least, right? Your goal is to save your brother, or at least to end this horrible madness. It's altruistic, right? Your
So,
motivation.
What's happened is happened. So the people that need saving are saved. I'll say that.
Got it.
Okay. But I feel like your intentions are good at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like you really keep it together in a quite difficult situation.
Yeah.
That's my MVP. My LVP is Jeff. I would like to not feel bad when he was like, I love you. And I'm like, you know what, man, you need to get it together. You had lots of chances and you seem to be real confused about what loyalty is. So no problem. And I don't know if it's my most improved, but I do think that Connor's character has a lot of evolution in the movie. And, and if I could say, I wish I did get more Terry, the therapist. I do wish I had a little bit more, because I thought those scenes were great. And I want more of that. And I would watch, I do get really scared in scary movies, but I do want to see the demon James story, because I was really into that as well. And then obviously the sequel where Molly comes back as the bitchiest demon ever to attack everyone.
We have discussed this.
Yes. So I really did love everybody, but I appreciated that there's a lot of meat behind Connor's character in the movie.
All right, Benjamin, who is your MVP? Your LVP, your MIP. You can pick one, too. You don't have to do all three in one shot.
Is this are we speaking character specific or actors as well?
Characters.
Whichever
we
one.
will not
I
make you
mean,
pick which actors you like the
yes.
most in front of your colleagues.
It's so strange. I'm gonna I think MVP, and I'm kind of leaning in all sorts of weird ways here, but let's go with Jacob Janiniwab.
That's a great last name.
I probably butchered the name too, like everybody. But I think the thing about why MVP on that is in every friend group, you need somebody to keep the levity up. And definitely, whether that's for the structure of the script or Jason as an actual human being, that character is so very important. And we're in this horrible, weird situation where this, snarky person that kind of wanted to die a little bit is necessary. So I think very valuable in that realm.
Very
I lean on that. What was the other one? The middle one?
Oh,
It's
yeah,
LVP.
LVP or MIP, or your most improved. You don't have to do all of them. I'll actually want to go around so we have enough time to hit everybody. So you can just pick one. All right,
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I'm going to leave you for last because I feel like you'll get, we'll learn a lot. Terry, which of the characters in this film was either your MVP, your least valuable player, or the one that improved the most over time?
And we're joined by Connor as well just now.
Nice. Connor's
Paul,
here.
Paul
Hey,
Sheehan is
folks.
here.
How you doing?
Oh, all right.
Sorry for the delay.
Oh,
you doing?
Paul,
You just
there he
missed
is.
Lily. You just missed Lily espousing how much she loved the
Your
layers of your character. So we'll
Oh,
come back.
I
to
appreciate that. Okay, no worries.
But Terry, over to you for your most or least or most improved.
Most, of course, is Soph, because she carries the action through her motivation of saving her brother, and she ultimately does it. And Lydia, what's Lydia's character's name? I forget the character.
Emily, right?
Or
Emily?
Emily.
She deserved every bit of ugliness she got.
I love the whole charging her parents for rent thing.
Yes, that
was
was
really well
ugly,
done.
man.
Lily, I could see you doing that.
My
Having-
parents the whole quarantine. Where I live in Spain, and where I
in the
live,
Canary Islands, you're
in the-
all invited.
you're all invited to come to the Canary Islands.
Wow.
And so they got stuck here right a week before the quarantine happened, and we had a full lockdown here. I think like similar to Ireland, where you couldn't even go to the shops, as
Yep.
they say.
Almost
So-
7 months.
Right. And so we were really locked down, and they stayed with me, and I did not charge them rent to live with
But
me.
they lived
For
with
the
her
record.
for 13 months. They lived
13
with-
months. and I did not charge them rent. So
And how much time are they willing to spend with me? Less than 24 hours before they're going back to visit you. They were here for
my house is very
Wait,
fun.
so Lily got 13 months. Shy got 24 hours. I got a 20-minute visit on the morning they were leaving.
Becky and I live next
Just to
door
be
each
clear, I am the youngest, and this is the dynamic in our family.
Becky and I live next door to each other in Virginia, so not near, not in the Canary Islands. Okay, Paul, just to catch you up, we are asking people about their MVP or LVP, their least valuable player, but their characters. So no
Not the
comments on your
actor.
actors. I'm going to go to
Yes.
Tina next, then back to you, Paul. Then we're going to
Okay,
close out the
no
questions
pressure.
with Elizabeth, because I feel like the writer is going to give us some real special insight there. Tina, which character were you either rooting, or was your most valuable or your least valuable or your
I'm gonna start backwards. My most improved for me was, and more in the sense that like I got to like this character more and more as time went on, was Jacob.
That's great.
I got to appreciate him more and more as we went on. Least, it would have to be Connor for obvious reasons. People just have to watch the movie. Sorry. And most, I mean, Sophia, of course, I'm rooting for her from the beginning. So,
That's very cool. All right, Paul, which character was your most valuable? Paul, who plays Connor, your most valuable player, your least valuable player, and which one do you think your opinion of them improved as the film went on, as the story unfolds?
I'm quite fond of Mantis Pete Boggin. He's somewhat of a father figure, the character that Terry plays. He kind of just like, as Terry only can do, he's very smooth and suave. He gives that sagely wisdom toward the early end of the movie, and then just vanishes into nothingness, which is quite nice. Least LVP, it's gonna be Molly.
MVP.
Maybe I'm staying in character somewhat, I don't know, but she just, she comes on there all self-righteous and armed to the teeth and wants to have a good old moan at all of us. So yeah, those would be my my two picks.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, Elizabeth. Oh, and
right.
also I can't before we do this, I do have to just send some love to Professor Peter Vincent Jr. because he talks about Kandarian demons, which again, as an Evil Dead fan, was just amazing.
Yep.
So your MVP, your LVP, and your most improved character.
So I first have to say, one of the biggest takeaways I hope people get out of this film is when it comes to mistakes, it really depends on what you do with those mistakes that make who you are as a person. So you can make really bad mistakes and then choose to fix them, or you can make really bad mistakes and just keep making bad mistakes and not grow and change as a human being. So in that respect, I am biased with Sophia because I knew what I was doing there with trying to say, like, no matter what, you make bad mistakes, but it's what you do with that bad mistake, to either try and fix it or solve it that, makes you who you are. Of course, Terry is also one of my favorites because he does nothing wrong.
Oh, stop.
He's perfect, and he gives great advice. So, he would definitely be my favorite. Really helps me out as a person. So, and then the people that don't change at all, depending on what their choice is really what makes them, the bad guy kind of in a way, depending on how you look at it. But yeah, they don't change. So those people that don't make the change are the ones that I don't, they're my least favorite.
One thing we talk about, one thing we talk about on the show a lot is character growth being one of the main things that will make us love a show. So I really love that you punish the people who do, or you're punishing in terms of who you like and you don't. The people that don't grow, you're like, not good. Okay, we're going to play our next game. Okay. This is a game we were doing and was named by our friend Chris Royce, who runs along with Stevie, last name. Oh my God.
Stevie
Stevie
Jackson.
Stevie Jackson. I was going to say Stevie
Jackson.
Jones, but I'm like, that's not right.
No.
But I was right.
I was
One of
gonna
our friends,
say,
Stevie Jackson, the Buddies Without Borders podcast.
Right. I was thinking
They
of her
named it
Twitter
I
handle.
had like all these awesome people in front of me. I had like a brain freeze. This game, the Comparathon, was named by Chris Royce of the Buddies Without Borders podcast that he does with Stevie Jackson. This is called the Comparathon, and we're going to do it. Normally we'd have one person on the hot seat, but this time everyone's going to take a choice. Everyone's going to like decide for the group what the next winner in the Comparathon is. So it's going to be really interesting. So what we'll do is we're going to, keeping with the theme of practical effects, because just love that element of this film, we're going to put a movie famous for its practical effects up, and then bring another one as that you would compare it to, and you have to pick one, which one's better, and then that one will go on to the next round. So I'll have Lily start us off, and we'll go to Paul. We'll kind of work our way around my screen the way I see it. Lily, Jaws versus.
Oh, we get to say something. Oh,
I want you. I just wanted you to demonstrate.
Very generous of you. Okay, you're asking me. All right.
Demonstrate. Jaws versus Alien, 1979, the original.
It's difficult because I couldn't go into a bathtub after I saw Jaws.
But it's not like you go to space.
But I was so scared. I remember being way too little to watch that movie. In a pool, I would have palpitations, and it was difficult for me to fill up the bathtub as a kid because I was like, there's a small chance that a shark could swim through the pipe.
You're confusing Jaws and Sharknado.
No. I was so scared of Jaws. However, I had the privilege of having an older brother who showed me Alien way too young. So then I didn't need to be afraid of Jaws because now I was afraid of the alien. So definitely Alien trumps Jaws.
Okay. Excellent. That's the right answer there. Alien's one of my favorite.
There is no right answer,
okay,
everyone.
Fine. There's no right answer. All right.
There is no right answer.
All right. So Paul, this is an interesting one. All right.
Yep.
Alien, 1979 classic from Ridley Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And The Dark Crystal, the Jim Henson, masterpiece.
Oh,
this is creature versus creature here.
I'm a big fan of puppetry, and yeah, when it comes to that, there's few who hold a candle to Jim Henson. Though, I mean, right, we take into account that the alien was close to 7 feet tall Nigerian student studying in England at the time.
I love the knowledge depth in this panel of speakers is so amazing.
But
I love that you all know this.
Yeah. For me personally, there's something like when you mentioned the first two movies, and I'll make this brief. When you mentioned the first two movies, both of them are experts at the slow burn in terms of a
exactly.
And that's what makes them so captivating. And I'm gonna have to say Alien for me, because it shows how much can be done with so little. Not to say that H.R. Giger's production design is not astounding. It is, but it's shadows, it's darkness, it's it's letting you just get just the tip of the iceberg, and just little elements as you go along. So in that sense, for me, that not that Dark Crystal is, but Alien would be my choice. Alien would be my choice.
All right, Terry, we're gonna take you to another film that I think relied on the talents of Jim Henson's crew, but it's synonymous with some other creators. Alien. This is going to be a space versus space battle versus Return of the Jedi. And I specifically say Return of the Jedi because if we're talking practical effects, this does include the 5 people stuffed inside of Jabba the Hutt's body situation here. So Terry, Return of the Jedi versus Alien.
Well, Alien is a discovery horror movie, just as you know, like Jaws, you know who the bad guy is when the young woman gets sucked down. You in the beginning of the movie.
Right.
But in
right.
Alien, you don't know what's happening. You have to discover what's happening, and they're two different kinds of horror. Now, Star Wars is a comic book characters that deal with future kinds of essences in their mental capacity, using the Force, and we don't need to see his identification, and you know that Jedi.
I think Terry
activity.
needs to be cast, by the way, in the Mandoverse as a Jedi. Can we agree on that? 100%.
100%.
But yeah, it's just the formats are so different, and the movies are capture essence in a whole different kind of way. So I still would go with Alien because it is wow, it is just a stunning exercise. And oh, this is why we're dying, and he is ugly. So that's it from the Alien again.
All right. I'm gonna jump ahead. I'm gonna jump around on. I don't know who can see the list.
You do what you need to do.
I'm gonna jump around. Okay. Because I want to make this extra challenging now for Elizabeth. Okay. Alien, and then you name checked it earlier. So Evil Dead 2.
Are we talking about just the practical effects or the?
You can look, I set rules and you can break them. That is how all these games work.
That's how Lily
Just
How
plays.
I play.
Just
How Lily
justify
plays.
your
So
answer.
you're part
and
of the
we are
family
good.
now. So you get to
All right.
just
Well,
ignore Shy. We usually do.
this is hard. Evil Dead 2 played with claymation, lots of blood, lots and lots of blood. And we all know how much I like that. in a
You
movie. So,
literally have a blood company
yeah.
for
Yes, she
movies,
does.
for movie blood company.
That
to
is
be
true.
clear.
Wait, mention the blood company.
Typo.
Typo.
Typo. Comes
We will
out of
have the links to the blood company in the
In
show
our-
notes for Typo in the show notes for all the filmmakers who are looking to buy blood that listen to the show.
That does not stain the skin,
it does not. Or
which is
skin
amazing.
for that matter. Comes
That's-
off of everything.
Amazing.
All right, we've
And
allowed
to be
you
clear,
to
it's
stall.
not ketchup, right? It's not ketchup. Okay. Just
We've allowed you to stall.
want to confirm that.
Alien versus Evil Dead 2.
The Alien is pretty much one of my favorite movies in terms of character development. Every single character, you know exactly what they're about, like right from the get-go. And I know that has nothing to do with the practical effects, but for me, that makes it even more terrifying to see some sort of creature attacking them. So that element definitely, you know, adds an element to my answer.
Oh, okay. All right. Ben.
so,
All
yeah,
right. I
Alien.
like. Okay. So Alien. Okay, Benjamin, you're gonna go last. Because of that, I'm gonna give you a few different options. You can. So you have
No,
like
not
six-
last. Tina
Wait.
didn't go.
Oh, Tina. I'm sorry, Tina. You gotta go.
Tina gets
Sorry,
So-
Tina. Benjamin is gonna go. Wait. No. Who should go last? Tina or Benjamin? What do you think, Lo?
Not me.
Okay,
So-
Tina.
so
Fine.
I think Benjamin should go last. That was going to
Okay,
be
Benjamin,
my
you
vote
are going to go
anyway.
last, and because you're
Okay.
going to go last, we're going to throw.
Since
a
he
few
could be
different
on
ones.
this list as one of the scary,
Yeah, as one of the scary practical
characters,
Scariest
effects.
because I thought
practical
his
effects.
part was the scariest part of the movie.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so Tina, Alien versus. I'm trying to channel where I think Tina. What would be most okay? Tina, Alien versus. This is an adventure movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay, so Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones, particularly that final scene.
the melting face. Oh, that
Oh my
stayed
God,
with me
you're
for
so
a long
gonna judge
time.
me for this. Alien. Because it's the one I've seen.
As long as you've seen Alien,
Fair.
we're in
You
good
do
shape.
recommend Indiana Jones though, if you're looking for a fun
Yeah,
adventure
Raiders of the Lost
movie.
Ark is- that's pretty. I got my kids to watch it, and they're really too young for it. Okay,
This
Benjamin,
is
you're
why I
gonna
didn't
get.
want to go last.
Okay, Benjamin, you're gonna get a couple because I'm going to make it extra hard for you. So you have to. So you have 3 against Alien now, because Alien also has been like crushing here. Okay. So some iconic practical effects here. Alien versus American Werewolf in London, the invention of the werewolf's transformation. Okay. Alien versus The Fly, Cronenberg at his best.
Still makes me want to vomit.
So gross.
And
How
then
he gets his food.
and then Alien versus Carpenter, The Thing, also
Just kidding.
some of the
Now
most
I want to
inventive
vomit
practical
thinking about
effects
the
ever.
thing.
So you can pick any one of those to put Alien up against, or you can say Alien just beats all of those. It's up to you.
Oh, you've done me a horrible disservice here. I am obsessed with body horror, and it's
I
three horrors
believe it.
versus Alien. Jeez. Alien's also super influential to me because it's possibly the first horror film I ever saw. I saw a double feature of Alien and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and those movies really have a lot of effect on me. Also, like, the character of Ripley is just like an incredible like icon. Sigourney Weaver is Bay. Jeff Goldblum in The Fly, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, I certainly looked at Jeff Goldblum's performance in that for James. Of like, how are you like manipulating your form and shifting, and what are the effects of monsters on the body? I mean, you had to put 3 against 1 because Alien is perfect.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
basically.
Yes,
I didn't
basically.
realize that's where we were going, but I do believe I often will talk about that movie as a perfect movie. So
It's
if
perfect.
you want to go with Alien, it's gonna be fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, I love all of them. I can't say that, but like, Alien is perfect. So yes.
We never want to make it easy. All right, we've got a couple minutes left to go. We are with the cast of The Dark Offerings, which is on Amazon, and people should buy it. We actually
This
have
is a buy.
The rating system on the Friday Night Movie Podcast is buy, rent, or meh, and everyone should go and buy this. So go check it out. Dark Offerings. We've been with Elizabeth Piper, the writer of the film, Benjamin Frankenberg, Tina Nikolova, Paul Sheehan, and Terry Alexander. Before we go, we have so little time. I would love if you could each, in 15 seconds or less, say where we could follow you and one recommendation, one pop culture recommendation for the audience, something you're either watching
or maybe what you're working on,
or what you're working on. That's
or
true,
what's
yeah.
coming up, or we
what's
can
coming
see you, or
So
info you wanna
Elizabeth,
share.
as the captain of the ship, we'll start with you. Where can people follow you, and one recommendation?
Okay. Instagram, Elizabeth Piper S. On Twitter, Elizabeth Piper E. Or you can try and catch me on Facebook. I think I have a TikTok. What was the other thing?
Oh, one recommendation. I mean, is The
recommendation, or
Dark
what your
Offerings
work-
your recommendation, or maybe you have another one?
Yeah, I would recommend The Dark Offering. And all these lovely people in action, definitely.
All right, Tina, where can people follow you, and a recommendation?
On Instagram at the really real Tina. And recommendation, this movie is in theaters now. It's called The Worst Person in the World. If you haven't seen it, it's awesome.
Very cool. Okay, Terry.
Hey, Dark Offerings, baby. That's what's going on. Sorry. No,
awesome.
you can Facebook me or Instagram me. And there's something that I can't talk about right now. That'd give it away. So, but there's something coming down line. You're gonna really love it.
Oh wow. Well, we will be there to cheer you on. Maybe even talk to you again if you
Sounds
like
cool.
being part of the family. Thank you. All right, so we'll be keeping an eye on what's coming. Paul, where can people follow you, and a recommendation?
I'm a bit of a social media bore. I'm on Instagram, so I suppose I'm somewhat okay. You can find me there at Paul P. Sheehan. Recommendation, I jumped back into Climax the other day, one of my favorite movies, Gaspar Noé. Fantastic film if you haven't checked it. It's a real thrill ride. And keep your eyes peeled for Scaredy Cat. It's a series that I am going to be pitching to some people soon. It's kind of rooted in Irish language, folklore, and horror.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
That sounds
that.
that
I
sounds
like that.
awesome.
So that's what's going on.
Cool.
All right, Benjamin.
I am on Twitter probably most as a human being. That's Ben Horrible at Twitter. I also am on a podcast called The Cultured Curators with my co-host Rabia Satabi. We talk pop culture, weird stuff. Recommendation that I would say, Titan, the newest French extremity film that came out, won the Cannes Palme d'Or this year. Julia Ducournau's follow-up to Raw. It's incredible. I don't think it got any Oscar nods or anything like that, but it's absolutely an important film for people to see. People call it the car fucker film, but it's really good.
Okay, cool. All right, Becky, where can people follow you and one rec that you've got?
At Paper BK Princess on Twitter, and I am loving Severance on Apple TV. That's my jam. That's my algorithm. So I'm loving it.
And Lily?
You can follow me on Twitter. Chichi, CHICHI. K Gomez is my Twitter handle. And it's embarrassing, but Shine chose it for me a long time ago, and now I'm stuck with it. So Chichi K Gomez. And I mean,
it's not embarrassing. Your middle name is Chichi, so
it's not my middle name, but now I have to explain. When I was little, our mom is Cuban, and my brother and sister got middle names. I did not get a middle name, and I felt left out. And I guess it was that Latin influence, and I decided that would be the appropriate middle name for them to call me. And they have not let me forget it. And Becky has forced her children to call me basically Aunt Chichi, because they, or Tia Chichi, as we say in our family in Spanish. And yes, they think that that's my name now. So the joke that will never end. And I'm watching Inventing
and Gomez
Anna.
is your husband's last name.
And Gomez is, K is for Corman, and Gomez is my husband's last name. And I am watching Inventing Anna on Netflix, which is the great Julia Garner is amazing. And I had read that article when it came out years ago. So I am super fascinated by the story. And I also have to read, this came from a guest that we had a few weeks ago. He recommended the documentary The Rescue from the team that made Free Solo, and you can get on Disney Plus, and it is about the rescue efforts of the team, the Thai soccer team of the little boys, the teenage boys that were stuck in the cave. And it is phenomenal. As much as you think you know about that story, it was an incredible film and incredible story of like countries working together, perseverance, and 10 guys in the world that had like a random, very obscure hobby are the only people that could solve this problem. And it was wild. So I recommend that.
Very cool. And you can follow me at Pancake and the number 4 table on Twitter and Instagram. And my recommendation is a short that Lily and Allie, my wife, and I got to watch, called Radical Honesty, that is premiering at South by Southwest on March 12th. We got a preview of it because news. Actually, you may have heard this by now already from us, but Friday Night Movie will be at the South by Southwest Wonder House, hosted by the University of Arizona, March 11th through 13th. We'll post the schedule of when we're recording episodes, and we're going to be doing interactive stuff and giving stuff away. So please please come and hang out with us there. But we got to see Radical Honesty, which is a great short about sex in modern times, from Alison Goldfarb, the writer and actor, and Bianca Poletti, the director. They did a magnificent job with it, and definitely check out our special South by Southwest preview episode that has that on there. All of the Friday Night Movie shenanigans are at Friday Night Movie on Twitter and Instagram, or FridayNightMoviePod.com. The theme music is by What Does It Eat? A huge thank you to our amazing guests from the Dark Offerings.
Thank you so much for your time. This was
Friday Night
so
Movie family,
fun.
and we will be rooting for you all the time. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.